No, Jack! Scifi cried out as she saw them fall, quickly swapping to a plasma rifle to try and give him some covering fire. Scifi! Enemies close! Nika warned with a yell, as she blasted a gutter punk that had tried to rush her, destroying the left part of the amphibian's torso with a powerful shotgun blast that stopped him dead. Shit! The Skritter cursed, as she dove into cover on the opposite side of the alcove, as plasma blasts zipped over her head, pummeling the plastered walls where she had just been standing and spitting up dust. Scrambling to her feet and unclipping her plasma rifle, she blind-fired around the corner, not caring who was on the other side, as she brought Laura and Chio time to use their powers. Dante barked loudly, as the dome of the most translucent sparkling blue settled over the girls. Recognizing it as the same kind of shield the dog had summoned when they were ambushed by the Red Legion aspirants on the way back from the Oracle, the Skritter grit her teeth as her brain caught up to what had been pure instinct. Holy shit, this was bad. Chancing a peek around the corner, she could see a scrum for the stairs, as a few of the more sober and less combative-looking patrons wisely decided to make their escape while they could, meaning that the stairs were clear enough to descend quickly if she and the others could get there. Unfortunately, the path to get there was packed with many, many more of the rougher-looking mercenaries, gangsters, and other toughs fired up by what was going on. "Here we go, boys!" A loud, drunken voice yelled out from somewhere nearby. "War!" As two heavy-armored Zarak wearing purple gang symbols charged into a group of avians wearing green, the resulting drunken brawl quickly escalated like wildfire into a full-blown melee, drawing nearby bystanders into the mix as drinks were spilled, bottles were smashed, and bodies hit the floor. Shit, getting out would be easy, the Skritter thought to herself, before suddenly getting an idea as she looked to the overhead turrets that looked like they were powering up. "Cover me!" she called back to the others, as a translucent AR feed highlighted her vision to reveal the poorly maintained and vandalized local matrix. Looking around the display, she could see poorly coded glitches rampant throughout the area, making it difficult to perceive the local connections, with what looked like years of virtual graffiti scrawled everywhere else. I'm surprised that any electronics work here, Scifi thought to herself, sending a scouting program to work out what she had to work with, while in the real world she moved to the balcony to try and look for Jack. She couldn't see anything through the chaos and her view of the Matrix before she had to duck down back into cover as several plasma blasts were sent her way from the opposite side. A quick blip from her scouting program told her that it had found what she was looking for, and Scifi wasted no time as she switched her view to that of her scouting program, holding back the nauseous sensation caused by the sudden perception shift, as almost immediately she had to focus on bringing her defensive programs to bear, as several hostile nodes honed in to attack her. What the fuck? These eyes are way too powerful for a place like this, Scifi thought to herself as she backed away, maintaining her defenses, and cursing the fact that she couldn't fully fade into the Matrix to speed things up. Looking up, Scifi saw the connections for the local turrets, defended by a wall of advanced blocker ice, too advanced to be part of the local system, and she also saw the reason. Oh, you motherfucker! Hiding behind the defenses, Scifi spotted a shrouded ghost-like shape by the turret connections, working an intrusion program on them to bring the turrets under their control. Another slicer was already in the system. As she sent a data bomb their way, the defenses quickly acted to protect their charge, intercepting the digital attack and exploding in a debris of code lines and pixels. Turning around, the other slicer grinned as his hack of the turrets continued automatically, indicating that he was fully sliced into the local matrix. Ah yes, we were informed that the outsider had a slicer amongst his group, the figure cruelly cackled, though Scifi was unable to tell their species or gender, due to them both being in cyberspace. I would normally tell you to surrender, but our lictor gave us orders to eliminate every single one of you. But hey, if you're lucky, you'll be alive long enough for me and the boys to run a train on you and your friends while you stare at the outsider's bloody broken corpse. What do you say? The Fawn gave a wicked grin even as he knew the answer, summoning more defender ice. Go fuck yourself, Scifi snarled, as she programmed another data bomb. Doesn't matter if it's in cyberspace or in reality, you're not leaving this shithole alive. I doubt it, the other slicer chuckled, as they summoned more attacker ice. Easily done for them as they were fully immersed in the Matrix, unlike Scifi, who was attempting it in synchronized real time as she stayed in cover in reality. "We were told you were the dumb one in the briefing. You are no match for me." "That's what you think," Scifi thought to herself as she tried a new plan, seeing that the other slicer was too well entrenched. Quickly pulling up her pre-prepared list of viruses, she shot out her virtual hands as what looked like several paper aeroplanes shot out to go for the other slicer. They were weak, unable to do any damage to the slicer, and most were easily intercepted, but enough hit the slicer to do what she needed them to do. Just for a moment, the avatar dropped, and she saw the slicer for a brief moment as he actually was, an obese toad-like being, in some kind of uniform. More importantly, she was able to pinpoint the exact direction and distance of his real body from her actual location. "Ha! Pathetic!" The other slicer cackled again, not noticing what Scifi's attack had actually done. "Was that meant to hurt? Take this!" Scifi grimaced as her Matrix defenses took a heavy hit, as she quickly backed out of cyberspace to return to the real world, grunting and shaking off the disorienting feeling of treading two worlds and being violently ripped back into one. Had she been fully sliced in, it could have caused her some serious injury. "Guys, we have a problem!" she shouted back to the others, as she saw the turrets begin to swirl around to aim their way. "Dissenter!" Allura gasped, as she finished the spell she had been casting, causing blurry illusionary duplicates of her, Dante, and the other girls to randomly appear near them, before with another word of command she caused them to run out and scatter, to hopefully confuse the enemies targeting them. Ever since the trick had worked when they fled from the Cult of the Destroyer, Allura had been practicing this technique, though it was still far from a perfect distraction. Some of the illusions ran off the balcony, only to dash uselessly through the air, while others waded into the various fights that were breaking out, even going through some people, as they yelped out in confusion before trying to attack them. "We've got to get Jack and run!" she yelled out, though she wasn't sure if the others could even hear her over the blazing music and the veritable mosh pit that had formed on the ground floor under them. She turned to the crew of river giants that were still with them, standing there with weapons brought to bear, but not really knowing what to do. "Where is your vessel located?" she asked them sharply. The river giants just stood there with a dazed look, and Allura realized they were probably in shock at seeing what just happened with Jack. "Captain, where?" Allura yelled, and that seemed to awaken the giants out of their stupor. "Far side of the docks, lass!" Captain Ripples on Salt spoke up hastily. "Largest vessel there. It's called the Silt Skimmer. You can't miss it." "All right," Allura nodded, trying to remain calm. "When you get the opportunity, get away from the place and get everything ready to leave. Pull out a dock a little bit if you need to, but do not leave without us. We'll join you as soon as possible." "Lass, we're not sticking around if things get bad," the captain warned with a panicked look. "If it spreads that far and you need to protect your people, then do so," Allura acknowledged. "But we're here for a reason, and our mutual friends won't be pleased if you lose your nerve." All right, the captain nodded, raising a hand placatingly. "We'll do what we can and wake all hands. They'll be sleeping around this time." "Good," Allura nodded. "Stay back and as far away from us as you can be, then make a break for it." "We can fight, you know," one of the crew spoke up, as the captain rounded on them. "You're drunk off your ass, Dipsimbog, and we have our orders. We're not sticking around, but at least we'll probably have to battle some fools to get out." Glad to have resolved that, Allura turned around to assess the situation. She could see Scifi covering the right side, while she was looking up towards the turrets, no doubt trying to take them over, while Nika was holding the right, and was attracting the most amount of fire. Seeing where the shots were coming from, Allura quickly ran towards the edge of the balcony near a wooden pillar that would hopefully give her some covering fire, as she quickly cast a spell. "Pyralis!" she yelled out, as she pointed her wand at the group of enemies aiming for Nika, as a jet of fire roared out, zipping around, above and below anybody not shooting at them, as it smacked into the trio on the opposite balcony that were, immolating two of them, but the third, a great hulking Balnath with a huge overgrown maw of teeth, was able to shrug it off. Allura dove to the ground as they returned fire, completely obliterating the pillar she had tried to hide behind. "Well, that got his attention," Allura thought to herself, as she rolled to the side away from the pillar, out of sight of the Balnath as they let rip with their Gatling plasma gun, though fortunately most of the wild shots had been intercepted by Dante's shield. Waiting for the sounds and lights to dissipate, Allura quickly got to her feet and cast another spell. "Come on then, you fuckers!" Nika growled, after she dispatched her amphibian attacker, quickly switching to her plasma rifle as she checked her side of the balcony alcove, quickly dispatching a figure that looked like she was heading for them. Nika didn't allow any sliver of doubt to shake her. This situation was dire enough that anyone, even remotely looking like a threat to her or her friends, was going down. "We need a way out. Scifi has the stairs," the Kizan thought to herself, as she spotted a sharpshooter on the opposite balcony, far too assured of themselves to be just an ordinary patron, an assumption that was proven correct as they moved to take aim at Scifi, before a burst from Nika smacked into him and threw their aim wide, though didn't finish them. "They've got good armor, maybe shields too. These guys are professionals," Nika concluded, though grinned as she spotted a group of some blue-feathered avian species mob the sharpshooter, clearly looking to grab their weapon in the midst of all the chaos. "Stairs are at the back of the building, so my way leads to the front. Maybe we can blast a way out and jump down. That plan worked out for us before." She contemplated the idea, knowing that she hadn't taken as many breaching charges as she normally would for an urban mission, having dismissed the need to have as many in a rural environment, but she had one on her just in case, with a couple more distributed among a few of the others. However, the building they were in wasn't the most structurally sound, and she had a real fear that enough damage could bring it crashing down above their heads. The decision was taken away from her, as from one of the far alcoves ahead of her, a group of 3 strangely uniformed soldiers of some kind advanced towards her, with the Kizan having no doubt that they were enemies, as 2 of them carried tall, broad riot shields locked into place, while the third shot at her with an accurate burst, cracking her shield and thumping into her heavy armor as she retreated. Where had these guys come from? She could have sworn she hadn't seen anyone in uniform, but realized that, like them, their opponents may have been in disguise, and had needed to quickly gear up before engaging. Immediately, Nika reached to her belt for a grenade, electing for a smaller yield as she activated the timer and waited a few seconds before flinging it back from cover with a well-practiced blind throw, sending it bouncing and clattering in a straight line before detonating right on target. Grinning with the roar, she dashed out from cover, going full auto as she unleashed hell, keeping low as she pushed forward, not letting up as she saw one of the shield guys drop to the ground, while another couldn't hold on, stumbling and falling back down from the freshly blown hole caused by the grenade, which must have slipped under their shields and taken out the third guy. And as she looked at the freshly blown hole, she realized now they had a quick way down. "Those are regulators," Tshirt warned, though she had no idea if any of her friends were paying attention, as the Alifi drew her power in to assist Dante in maintaining an energy barrier, before taking out her magic staff and channeled her power to lash out with psionic power at whoever she could detect down below, sensing that they were going after Jack. She heard her friends acting, and knew she had to do everything in her power to get them all out in one piece. Sensing a lot of magical energy flaring up, Tshirt activated her astral sight to check what was happening, and cursed as she did. There was a lot of ambient mana dissipating in the air from several illusionary spells, likely from their attackers, and she detected 3 strong signatures in particular, and 2 of them were situated on the ground floor. The third was on the other balcony. Responding to the imminent threat, Tshirt focused on her attack as she saw the astral form of the physically obscured wizard on the other side of the room, whispering words of power and weaving their hands in strange patterns for a complicated spell of some kind that didn't look good. Her meditations with the essence of water they had looted from the pallid pit had proved fruitful, as she had quickly learned to combine her new affinity with her existing psychic powers to weave together some new tricks, her most basic one coming into play as she quickly drew in the ambient water from all around them to cluster in one great ball, before launching several blasts that shot out to catch the enemy mage completely off guard, battering their body and cracking several ribs, causing them to flail back and, more importantly, completely disrupting whatever spell they were trying to cast. The enemy mage appeared physically as their illusion mask was dispelled, revealing a diminutive blue furry mammalian with a long thin snout and a set of traveller's robes with the insignia she recognized as belonging to the Order of the Infernal Harmony. Tshirt saw them angrily motion at her, ordering several more regulators on the other side of the building to aim at her. Well, I'm flattered, Tshirt thought to herself, as she put more of her energy into maintaining her personal shields and hunkered down to avoid the gunfire, which took some of the heat off Nika, before the inevitable explosion went off several seconds later. We've got a quick way down, Nika called back after dashing back to them, a sentiment that Tshirt quickly repeated to Allura to get past the deafening noise. Understood, Allura shouted. Chio? Lead your crew to the left and drop down the hole, the Ilithi told the river giants, embedding the thoughts directly into their minds over the noise. We shall follow promptly. Get everything ready for a quick exit. We'll cover you. Go, now! Quickly nodding in agreement, the band of river giants needed little prompting to run the fuck away from the ongoing shitstorm, while the group covered for them, with Chu unleashing her power and levitating a regular from behind an overturned table, only for Nika to cut them down mercilessly with plasma fire. Guys, we have a problem, Scifi yelled in a panic. They have control of the turrets. I can't take them back from here. We've got to get off this balcony, Chu warned the others. Nika has an exit. But then she sensed it. Scatter, now! She warned, as the entire balcony suddenly collapsed violently from under them. With a roar, Jack braced for impact as the ground rushed up to meet him with terrifying speed, as he struggled with the Redeemer, before they both collided with the dance floor in a bone-jarring smash, breaking the grapple as the Redeemer slammed hard onto his back, with Jack faring little better as his shoulder took the brunt of the heavy impact, sending shockwaves of pain radiating heavily through his body. The air was knocked from his lungs as he had the presence of mind to roll away, quickly scrambling to his feet with a fierce determination as he gathered his bearings. The room span in a disorienting blue for a second, as Jack blinked away the stars dancing in his eyes. But Jack could see a crowd of gangsters and mercenaries forming around him, whooping and cheering, having seen his fall, but not having any idea what just happened. Where is he? Jack managed to gasp, as some movement from the side caught his attention, springing him into action as he quickly drew his heavy rifle, dodging the Redeemer's enraged charge at the same time as he managed to get off a risky burst of heavy plasma that caught the Redeemer dead center of mass as they passed and crashed into a table of avian mercenaries wearing what looked like biker levers. You fat cunt! You spilled my beer! One of them squawked at the Redeemer, who simply pushed the speaker aside as he quickly assessed the hits he took, a decision he quickly regretted, as Jack put another accurate burst into him, staggering him backwards with many smoking holes in his now ruined brown overcoat, but not dropping him. Go down, you fucking wanker! Jack growled, as he leveled his gun to shoot again, before several shots smacked hard into his shoulder, sending him careening to the side in a wild spin as his shots were sent wide, blasting smoking holes through the roof that allowed the evening light to shine through as he barreled into a group of furry beings that closely resembled silverback gorillas in matching military fatigues that denoted them as part of a militia. Fucking kid! One snarled, as he bodily shoved Jack to the ground, flicking a telescopic baton as he approached again to try and do him more harm before Jack got his gun up. Back off! Back the fuck off! He yelled in a panic as he got back to his feet, warning the gorilla men who cautiously took several steps back as he scrambled to his feet again, as he was shoved and jostled by alien bodies writhing and thrashing around in a frenzied melee of fists, feet, tails, claws, paws, teeth, and fuck knew what else. The pulsating, thudding beat of the music jarred like a rampaging heart attack to provide a rhythmic backdrop to the rapidly escalating brawl, punctuated by the gunfire, the crash of breaking glass, and the roars of the combatants locked in drunken combat, as he found himself in the middle of a full-blown mosh pit. Risking a glance to the side, he saw the Redeemer rip off the smouldering remaining scraps of his brown overcoat to reveal the dull, thick metal plates of his own heavy armor. He could see that his heavy plasma rifle had done some kind of damage, though he couldn't tell how much from the melted, blackened, smoking marks from where Jack had shot them, or if his shots had even penetrated past the layers. But he could see that the Redeemer wasn't going to go down easily, as the avian gang was piling on the Yogar, who lashed out at them with his huge powerful fists as plates extended around his neck and head for extra protection. Suddenly, Jack caught another movement out of the corner of his eye as he spun around, before a pincer deflected the barrel of his rifle, as a spindly insectoid quickly closed the distance, hostile intent abundantly clear in their snarling expression, as they snapped a pincer at Jack's face, who ducked out of the way and shunted backwards. Shit! This place is too swarmed, Jack cursed to himself, as he tried to aim his gun through the ongoing brawl. I can't risk firing into an open crowd. The rest of these people haven't done a thing to me. Realizing his rifle wasn't the best choice of weapon now, as he was knocked about by the horde of bodies, Jack flicked it around and behind him, relieved upon hearing the magnetic clips of his armor do their thing, latching his rifle in place so he could retrieve it later. Aegis! Jack yelled out, as the pincer of the insectoid came at him again, summoning his shield to take the blow before he lashed out, taking the bug in the maw and knocking him back, before he followed through with a quick draw of his sidearm, putting 2 controlled shots in the thing's chest, and missing the shot to the head, as several bolts of blue light smacked into him, though his shield took a few of the hits as he disengaged. Shit! How many of these fuckers did the Redeemer bring with him? Jack thought to himself, as he heard an explosion from somewhere up above him. And how the fuck did they know we'd be here? His ring of the Berserker was flaring up, as Jack tried to regain his bearings, trying to spot the source of the magic missiles that had just been flung his way, before he suddenly brought up his forearm, reflexively parrying a swipe from the gorilla man that had tried to blindside him with the baton. His armor held, only causing him to feel a slight tingle as he lashed out with a punch, clocking his attacker in the face as his gauntlets instantly reacted to cap his knuckles with a metal coating, adding to the power of the punch, sending the gorilla man to the ground in a daze. What's up, retards? May I have your attention, please? A sneering voice called out over the speakers of the music, and though Jack looked for the source of the voice as he tried to get away, he could see the DJ still at his podium looking confused at who was talking. I know you crackheads aren't very bright, so I'll try and use simple words so you understand. You are currently being graced by the presence of the Order of the Infernal Harmony, along with our very special guest, the Redeemer. The reason why we're here is the outsider, practically shitting himself on the dance floor of this dump, along with a few random bimbos dumb enough to tag along with him. Anyone that gets in the way of our business or takes any action against us should be prepared to accept the consequences, up to and not limited to your brutal death. So if any of you losers are actually lucid enough to understand me, get the hell out of our way. Fuck you, bitch! One drunken patron yelled out above the noise, as he drunkenly shot at the nearest speaker, missing several times, before reducing it to slag. Oh, golly gee, what an unexpected answer from a bunch of fucking crackheads! The voice mocked sarcastically, as Jack saw the turrets above glow with power. Time to die, motherfuckers!